The question of how the EU can effectively influence international politics has long defined the discipline of EU studies and policy debates in and beyond Brussels. A common argument has been that the EU lacks the necessary military power to influence international politics. Recently, this argument has gained further prominence in the context of a widespread sense of crisis in the EU, characterized by Brexit, the so-called migration crisis, and Donald Trump's critique of NATO. In response, scholars and policymakers alike have called upon the EU to step up its role in international affairs and to establish a common security and defense policy that is more assertive, more militarized, and more masculine. In our article, we take a different perspective and argue that we should take the idea of the EU as a military actor seriously. We draw on feminist work that has foregrounded the concept of militarism to move beyond an understanding of military power as related to the ability or inability to engage in military conduct. Instead, we suggest that the EU should be considered a masculine military power, not only because it uses and aims to develop hard military instruments, but also because of how militarism is present in political and social relations, discourses, and practices at the EU level. Building on a discursive analysis of recent policy initiatives linked to EU security and defense, we argue secondly that what we're witnessing in these times of crisis is a normalization of militarism and the extension of militarism beyond the military domain proper. This normalization manifests itself most clearly in the way in which military strategy, equipment, and funding have been transferred to other policy domains, such as migration or development aid or research and development policy. Our article concludes by arguing that while the EU presupposes that a more militarized and more masculine approach to foreign policy is the right and rational course of action, critical reflection is needed. In particular, we should ask whose security the EU's militarism is protecting and defending. Militarism reduces resources for other public investments in the EU. It also hinders the consideration of local contexts and structural causes of insecurity. In this way, militarism, as a response to crisis, reinforces causes and consequences of crisis and produces new insecurities, particularly for already marginalized groups.